Hello everybody and welcome to today's lesson where we will talk more about the unit circle, and our objective for today is we will be able to use the unit circle to find exact values of the 6 trigonometric functions for a given angle. First, let's talk about a new concept. What is a quadrantal angle and what are the values of the trig functions for the quadrantal angles? A quadrantal angle has its terminal side on the x-axis or the y-axis. As you can see from the word, it has the word quadrant in it. Quadrantal angles are angles that cover one or more entire quadrants. If we take a look at our coordinate plane, we're starting off with 0 here at the x-axis. If we go one quadrant up, we are at 1/2 pi. Go over, we are at pi. Go over again, we are at 3/2 pi. And going all the way back to where we started, we get 2 pi. Those are the quadrantal angles. So what are the values of the trig functions of those quadrantal angles? They are a little special. Let's draw a little baby unit circle here and pick a point. For example, this one. The coordinates of this point are 0 and 1. So this is the angle theta, and the measurement of it is 1/2 pi. So what is the sine of theta? The sine of theta is the y-coordinate of the point, so that's 1. What's the cosine of theta then? That's the x-coordinate, and that's 0. The tangent is the y-coordinate over the x-coordinate, 1 over 0. Uh-oh, that's not possible. So this one is undefined. Now let's look at our reciprocal functions. The cosecant is 1 over the sine. 1 over 1 is still 1. The secant is 1 over the cosine. 1 over 0. Well, that's another one that's undefined. And the cotangent is the reciprocal of the tangent, 0 over 1. Oh, yeah, we can do that, but that is just 0. So keep that in mind. Quadrantal angles are the angles land directly on the x and the y axis, and they have special values for their trigonometric functions. The values are either 1 or 0, and some of them are even undefined. Now let's talk about how do we use the unit circle to find values of trig functions. Here we're supposed to find some trig functions. Let's start with the sine of pi. To do that, we're going to draw a little unit circle here for ourselves to figure out where does that angle actually land on the unit circle. And as you remember, going all the way around is 2 pi. So pi is just halfway around. So this is the point where we have pi, and the coordinates of that point are -1 and 0. And that gives us the answer that we needed. The sine of pi is the y-coordinate of the point, and that is 0. Next, we're supposed to find the cosecant of pi. It's the same angle, and all it is, it's the reciprocal function. So the cosecant of pi is 1 over the sine. That's 1 over 0, but as you know, that's not possible, so that is undefined. Moving on to our next pair of angles, we are drawing our unit circle again. So where does the angle of 60 degrees land? Remember, 60 degrees is one of our tall 30, 60, 90 triangles. So it's around here, and the coordinates of that point are 1/2 and square root of 3 over 2. And there we can use those coordinates for our cosine. The cosine of 60 degrees is equal to the x-coordinate of the point. That's 1/2. And the secant, being the reciprocal of the cosine of that same angle, is then 2 over 1. which is just simply 2. Next, we're supposed to find the tangent of negative 11 pi over 4. Wait a minute. Negative values for angles? We don't have any negative values for angles on our unit circle, so what are we going to do now? Well, we're going to remember the concept of coterminal angles, and we're going to look for a coterminal angle that is positive and that is within the range of 0 to 2 pi. So let's take our angle negative 11 pi over 4, and we have to keep adding 2 pi to it until we get into the range where we can find the value on the unit circle. Negative 11 pi over 4, if we add 2 pi, that is 8 pi over 4, we get negative 3 pi over 4. Oh, bummer, that's still negative, so we need to do it one more time. Negative 3 pi over 4 plus 8 pi over 4, that gives us 5 pi over 4, and 5 pi over 4 is more than pi but less than 2, so we can use this value and find it on the unit circle. Let's draw our unit circle then. And 5 pi over 4 is more than halfway around because that's pi. And then 1/4 more. And that is going to be directly here in the middle. 5 pi over 4. And the coordinates of this point, this is one of our 45, 45, 90 triangles. And it's in the third quadrant. So both coordinates are negative. And they are negative square root 2 over 2, and again negative square root 2 over 2. We're supposed to find the tangent of this angle. The tangent is the y-coordinate over the x-coordinate. Negative square root of 2 over 2 divided by negative square root of 2 over 2. Anything divided by itself will give us 1. So that's the tangent. That's the tangent of 5 pi over 4. But since 5 pi over 4 is a coterminal angle to the one that we needed, negative 11 pi over 4, the tangent of that one is also 1. And here's our answer. Next, we're supposed to find the cosecant of 29 pi over 3. Wait, what? 29 pi over 3? That's not on a unit circle either. What are we going to do? And again, we're going to find a coterminal angle. This time we have to subtract 2 pi until we get this angle somewhere in the range between 0 and 2 pi. 29 pi over 3, that's a big angle. So let's get started. 29 pi over 3, we're subtracting 6 over 3 pi. Then we're left with 23 pi over 3. That's still too big, so we need to subtract 6 pi over 3 one more time. Now we have 17 pi over 3. Still too much. Subtract 6 pi over 3 again. We get 11 pi over 3. 11 pi over 3 is still more than 3, so we need to keep going. 11 pi over 3 minus 6 pi over 3, and that will give us 5 pi over 3. Finally, phew, that was a lot of work. 5 pi over 3 is on the unit circle. Let's go and find it. 3 pi over 3 would be pi, and that's all the way here. 5 pi over 3 goes across the third quadrant and lands in the fourth quadrant, and it's another one of our tall 30, 60, 90 triangles, just facing downwards. It's in quadrant 4. That means that our x-coordinate is positive 1/2, and the y-coordinate is negative square root of 3 over 2. We're supposed to find the cosecant. The cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine, and our sine would be the y-coordinate, negative square root of 3 over 2, and we need to flip it. Alright, so then we get negative 2 over the square root of 3, and with a radical in the denominator, we know we need to rationalize it. Multiplying by square root of 3 over square root of 3, we get negative 2 square roots of 3 over 3. And that is the cosecant of our coterminal angle, 29 pi over 3. The value is negative 2 square roots of 3 over 3. All right, so much for that. Now go ahead and watch the second part of this tutorial.